Oh, surprise attack. Surprise sneak attack. Yeah, baby. Listen to that audio. Don't you know? Let's pull up a little thing. Curtis. Let's see what comes up. Is still around, yeah. Yeah, baby. Okay. That's good. That's great. Let's share our screen here. Man, we are rushing against the clock right now because when my son comes home, I'm going to have to get up on off here. But I figured I'd go early instead of later, which generally isn't our MO, modus operandi. So I'm going to have a big crowd tonight, but that's okay. That's not why. I mean, had so much content lately that I'm not really worried. Again, I've never done so many videos in such a short period of time, so close together. Okay, here we go. There's another one. Share another screen. Share it to the group, of course, our Lodi group. Gonna share to Little Talk of Horrors. And I think that's good. Right? Yeah. 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 Okay. Let's begin. Welcome to I forgot the name of the show. Welcome to Facebook Evilive. I'm your host, Screamin' Jeff Formaldehyde. That sounds so bad. My name's Jeff. I'm just Jeff. I hope my glasses don't fog up too bad here. Okay, so we're gonna start the episode a little differently than we normally do. Actually, hold on. Let's go in the order of things. So first of all, all right. Here, let me get myself in here. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do an unboxing. We're gonna start with an unboxing. Wow, our first unboxing. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it. Our friend Robbie Bloodshed sent me a little care package, and I figure I would wait until we were on air. Oh, that's right. I should have that link up. Well, problem is I have my screen set up a certain way, and I'm afraid that I'm gonna ruin it. I'll just leave here as well, just so we have it. But yeah, I'm pretty much stuck with the screen that we have because we're going to be doing some audio stuff. First time audio stuff, a real experiment here. But in order to do the unboxing, I figured we'll go to camera the way that I'd have before. So let me just get my cell phone into the mix here. Just one moment. That's loading up right now. We'll call this unboxing cam. All right, we're entering the broadcast studio. Here we are. Oh, but let's stop the. No. Here, that'll work. No. There we go. I don't want to hear it. There we go. Okay. That's good. All right. Adding that to the stream. Okay. Hey, people. Okay. So, a while back, I told you about um, there are some independent artists that put a lot of care into the stuff that they send. And Robbie Bloodshed, who I know going back some years, is one of these individuals who really puts a lot of care into how he sends his packages. And so I actually saved this. This is from years ago. Actually, I probably could tell you the date specifically, but I loved the ingenuity so much that I actually saved the packaging. I don't think there's a date on here. Oh yeah, this is from September 23rd, 2016, and this is what Robbie Bloodshed does on his packaging. I just think it's so special. I talked about this on an episode a while back. And I just thought that was so nice. What a nice, cool thing. I mean, he just basically did what Glenn used to do with the bones around the thing, and he has a like a pumpkin stencil right here from Robbie. I don't even remember what he sent me. He sent me something really cool though. And so Robbie has sent me another care package, and I figured let's do the unboxing here to help him promote his new album. Last week we promoted and showcased Voice of Doom's cool new record, which if you have not checked out, go to the Voice of Doom Bandcamp. They still have, I think they have 10 copies left. They pressed up 100 of the 7-inch swamp green 7-inch. And yeah, it was just really fun. That you could tell a lot of care went into that layout as well. So check that out. So we did that last week, and I figured, you know, I like showcasing independent artists. Not to say that this is any kind of platform that would really do the promoting, but you know, still, it's fun. It's nice. Hold on. I'm doing way too much. I need a producer. I need someone to help me. Whoa. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's there. All right. Now we got our box, right? Okay. Here's our box. This was from Robbie Bloodshed. And as you can see, look at the tender loving care from, sorry, it's off mic. Look at the tender loving care from UPS. I mean, what a caring clan. Listen, I'm not going to blame the mail carriers. They are hardworking dudes. There's something fishy going on with the USPS. That's all I'm going to say about that. We're not going to get political here, but point is that this is how the package came, which I thought was rather unfortunate. Okay, we have our letter opener. Oh no. Yeah, there we go. We have our letter opener here. Let's open this sucker up and see what's inside. I hope I don't stab myself. There we go. Should have taken a knife, maybe. Knife would have helped a lot more. Let's. You bastard. Here we go. There we go. All right. We got it. Can open this bad boy. Whoa. Whoa. This is cool, man. Let's look inside. Whoa. We got a Robbie Bloodshed hat. Look at this. Running out of time. Stuff is falling out. Look at that. Very nice. Well done, Robbie. It's got his signature insignia, which is he has the double stallions. That's Robbie's logo right there. And it's like some sort of, I can't see my glasses. Let's take off the glasses for a minute. Wow. I like it's got like this. Yeah, it's just it's got a purple. That's what I was trying to see. So underneath the, so there's some purple there. See that? See that purple outline right there? Yeah, that's cool, man. That is cool swag. All right. So because Robbie went to the trouble of sending us a hat, I think it's only fair that we wear it for the duration of the episode, right? Gotta stick this bad boy on. Too bad I got a fat skull. Let's see if it fits. Oh my goodness. This is a very, very, either I have a really big hat or this is a very small hat. One of the two. Let's put that on. Okay. Little shallow, not as deep as I need for my dome piece, but still we'll get the job done. Robbie, thank you so much. I love it. We're wearing it for the rest of the episode. It's on the head to promote Robbie Bloodshed, running out of time. Okay, that's good. Okay, first let me put on okay, so we got that. What else do we have in our mystery box? There's more. There is more stuff in our mystery box, people, from Robbie Bloodshed. Let's see what else we got in here, okay? Let's take a look. Okay, got my signature glasses back on. It's part of my brand. We want to stay on brand. Thank you, Robbie. Truly, thank you. Robbie says, "You're welcome, my friend." That's very nice. Okay, we got more. What is this? Let's see. Oh, an air freshener. Look at that. You know, I really like this art. I said the last week or a week before that this really reminds me of this reminds me very much of, it's like Static Age. It's like a Glenn Danzig inspired design, but it's not directly ripping off the art, which is, what we all do. We all rip off the art. So we got an air freshener. What? Oh, there's more stuff. Let's see here. Okay. Wow. That's pretty. Look at this pin. Robbie, who did these pins for you? We got to talk, buddy. I got to know. Wow, that is great. This is one of those, what are they called? Enamel pins. This is an enamel pin with the rubber stoppers on the back. Very pretty. All this stuff is available on Robbie's merch store on his Bandcamp. We'll post a link to that. What? And we got patches. Look at this. This is a patch. He sent me the full care package. Look at the stitching, the detail that they did. That's not easy to do. Notice the font too. What is this font? This running out of time font is like, can't really see that. Well, we'll check. I think there's an album in here, so we'll check. Look at that though. That is cool, man. That is cool. This is a dude who really, and last but certainly not least, and it's wrapped up. Look at that. Damn, that came out nice, man. What do you call this type? This is a digipack, I think, actually. Digipack jacket. All right, well, look. Well, we got to open this up, too. We got to open it up as well. Let's pop it open so we can really get a look at the, oh, that CD falls out real easy, though. Be careful, guys. If you order this care package, just be careful here. Shine some light on the situation, shall we? All right, so now we can really see that artwork. Look at that sucker, man. Well done, huh? I'm a fan. And you got that, what is it? Like the dot, the comic dot shit. I don't know what it's called. The dots. You got the dots there. Very cool. Yeah, and that font is a very interesting font. Both Robbie and I are a connoisseur of fonts. And when we used to make music videos, we would constantly be talking about fonts. And I don't know what font Robbie has dug up for this, but it's definitely a good one. Not one that I've seen. Usually when you get a font, you want a font that you have not seen anywhere else. You want it to feel unique and special right there. And there's the spine. Can't focus this camera. Sorry, it's not focusing. There it is. There's the spine. Robbie Bloodshed, running out of time. Robbie says the insert is a photo of the insert is a photo my great grandfather took in the 20s in Lodi, scanned from the original negative. Let's take a look at that. It's not that. That's not a photo. What is that? It's some. Once again, it's like a cool design underneath all the text here, right? And it just shows you who did what. Mr. Jim plays on this. Mr. Jim plays on a track, and yeah, just all your credits and whatnot. And yeah, it's very pretty. It's got a nice matte, like a nice matte feel. Premium. This is a premium product here. And there's a picture of Robbie. I think this was a painting done. He's sporting some sort of mustache. What is that? Yeah, just a 5 o'clock shadow. It's a painting of Robbie smoking a Stogue cigarette. And then I think, let's look on the inside because I think that's what. Oh no, that's just a hand melting time. A hand holding time that's melting. It reminds me very much of Salvador Dali. Robbie, you want to fill us in on what this is, or who did someone draw that too? It's very cool. I really like this. This would make a really good enamel pin, or even just on a T-shirt or something. And which is the photo, Robbie, that your grandfather took? I'm trying to understand, or maybe maybe on the back here we have all these photos. You have just like a sort of a mosaic of various things. And one of these seems to be like a hallway of some kind. And there's like some molding or something. I don't know. Very cool. Either way, this is very cool. Love it. I'll definitely give that a listen. Definitely going to check it out. Whoa. Don't spoil the surprise here. Okay. All right. I think that's the end. We're going to leave the phone now. Robbie, thank you very much. So you can check out Running Out of Time, now available for order at Robbie's Bandcamp. I'm going to put the link up there. And again, Robbie, thank you for the care package. Really, really nice. I really like it. Robbie says behind the credits. Behind the credits is the photo, and each tile on the back track listing represents each track. Very cool, and that's where you can see that photo behind the credits. That's what his great grandfather took right here. Very cool. All right. So before we move on, I will say, if anybody else has anything that they want to feature on the show, like what Robbie did here, you want to send me something for me to look at, feature on the show, happy to do so. It's my pleasure. If you go to the trouble to send me something, I will go to the trouble of pimping that shit on my show. We also forgot the bracelet. Robbie did a bracelet here, which you can get. These are like tchotchkes, fun swag. You know, what I really like is the black and purple sort of marbling, which is really nice. That's really cool. Hi, George. George says he's a big fan. Cool, man. Welcome, George. Glad to have you here. So yeah. So look, you want to send me something? Send me something. I'll take a look at it. Here, happy to do that. Get in touch. Send me a message on the Lodi page. I'm very bad about answering some of those Lodi messages. I let those inboxes stack up, and then it becomes overwhelming. And then I check them. It's the way I am with messages. They pile up and they pile up and they pile up, and finally I have to look at them all, and I get back to people. Terrible lag times. It's not very professional. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there for now. Gordon wants to know, is Chudgate on YouTube? Are you referring to our last marathon episode of Catharsis? Then yes, it is. You can find the episode Chud, a very special episode with Chud, unfortunately, is up on YouTube. And the last thing I want to show you guys that I got, I've been waiting over a month for this. Who's a Pixies fan? Does anybody like the Pixies? I am a ginormous Pixies fan. They are one of my, after the Misfits and, a couple other things, Beatles and stuff, and Iggy and the Stooges, Pixies are right up there. And one of my top 5 favorite bands of all time. Every album is a masterpiece. Trompe le Monde is a masterwork, and it's the 38th anniversary. I didn't owe it. I didn't own it on vinyl. And many, many years ago, someone gave it to me for free, the album. And so I thought, well, what better way to support one of my favorite bands than to buy the album, because I don't own it on vinyl. So I did it. Yeah. For anybody that wants to see previous episodes of this show, the best place to go is YouTube. Heads up, the show is moving to YouTube at an undisclosed time. I will no longer be doing the show on Facebook. The show will officially migrate over to YouTube forever. We'll still be doing the shows. Nothing is going to change except that it will no longer be on Facebook natively. I don't think. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going to be going down. At least we're going to experiment that way. That's the way we're moving with the show. What's next? So here we are with. Okay, so here's the topic of the show. Oh yeah, little housekeeping. I don't think we have any new coffee club donors. I do want to highlight. The problem is I have this thing all synced up, and it's not. I'll have to do it later in the show. Okay, let's do it. Let's just go into it. So today's show is actually about a broadcast, a radio broadcast from March 19th, 1983 on WERS in Boston. I had never listened to this broadcast. It was brought to us by Russell Casualty in the Facebook Live, in the Lodi. Sorry, I just had a brain fart. In our Facebook group, Russell brought it to us, and I took a listen to it as I was incorporating a couple of things into They Came from 1979. And I was like, this was a fascinating document. Here's what's so interesting about listening back to interviews from different time periods of one's life. They, in general, not just the Misfits, I think this is just a generalized thing. it's amazing how people sort of change their minds or feel a certain way about something at that time. And that's why I was listening to this interview and I was like, this is fascinating to me, because what you're doing is you're getting a snapshot of this band on the brink of decimation. They wouldn't exist in 6 months. And yet, 6 months before, in March of 1983, it sounds like they're full throttle. You know what I mean? Even if Glenn is thinking about doing a side project and, he started recording Samhain experiments like Archangel with Al Pike and, written for Dave Vaney and whatnot to sing, it still felt like the Misfits were going to be, going full tilt boogie. Um, and so really, it makes me think? It really makes me think that there were just a bunch of catalysts for the rest of those in the following 6 months that really led to the breakdown of the band. So what I'm really trying to say here is that I think at the start of this year they were intending to continue on. There was no atrophy happening. And so what we're going to do, this is a first, we're going to actually try to listen to the interview. We're going to pause it at certain points. We're going to talk about things, because what I really want to analyze, what I really want to listen to is I want to hear, or I want to unpack how they feel about certain things at this time in 1983. And that to me, I thought would make for an interesting episode. So that's what we're going to do. But before we get there, let's take a look. And by the way, the whole spiel, if you want to be a executive producer on 1979, A Year of Horror Business, buy a cup of coffee. It's in the comments, the links, all that stuff. Or you could just click on Frumess.com, click on some ads, throw some penny in the AdSense. Or now you can buy T-shirts. Yes, we have our first T-shirt design, but I can't show it to you right now because of the stupid screen, the way everything is set up. But I will put that link in the comments. Or you can rent stuff on VOD directly from my website. Those are all things you can do. Here you go. That's the link for our first T-shirt design. It's called Horror Punk Sour Cream. And if you are a fan of this band, or if you are a fan of Misfits, Samhain, Danzig stuff, you will laugh and giggle at this design. I thought it's something that I've always wanted on a T-shirt personally, and I finally got around to designing it, and just felt like it's a really fun Misfits, Samhain, Danzig inspired design. And anybody who sees you wearing that shirt and is a big fan of Samhain is going to go, ah, I get it. Hint, hint, November coming fire. So take a look. So now let's talk a little bit about Tang Records. Okay. So the guy doing this interview, at least Russell Casualty thinks it is, and I'm inclined to believe it as well, is a fellow by the name of Curtis Casella. And he is a guy from Boston. He started Tang Records in 1983. Tang, Tang, is actually stands for something. Teenagers are no good. That's what Tang stands for. And he sort of, just in the way that you had Touch and Go, you had Discord, you had Alternative Tentacles, you had Slash, you had Plan 9, you had all these different record labels, right? Well, the one for Boston was Tang Records, right? And they put out Gangrene and Negative Effects, Lemonheads, Mighty Mighty Bosstones, SSD Control, I believe. Don't quote me on that. And so, and those were some bands that, and it's what's interesting is it's around this time in 83, really started in 82, that the Misfits are starting to speed up. They're starting to, it happens sometime after Walk Among Us. They just start going faster and faster and faster and faster. And they're, and it's really sort of wearing on the quality of the music, in the sense that we've talked about this before. Glenn sings melodically over fast-paced punk. That becomes harder when you're going faster. you know, instead of going, attitude, you got some fucking attitude. I can't believe what you said to me. You got some attitude. You got some fucking attitude. I can't believe what you said to me. I mean, it's not, there's nothing wrong with that, but it just, or Horror Business is a great example. Horror Business is a song that gets ruined when it gets too fast. That, whatever, the progression, the instrumental progression, the down, 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 it just becomes, it starts to lose its identity as a song the faster it goes, and it just, the song doesn't sound good going so fast, you know. And so that's what started to happen around that time. And I think part of what happened was that, you know, again, Misfits are a band. They started in 77. They start to get faster and faster. They sort of make that transition from playing with the New York punk scene to playing with the hardcore kids. And when they play with the hardcore kids, they got to play as fast as the hardcore kids. They're rubbing shoulders with bands like Gangrene, like, you know, Government Issue, like, you know, just all these fat Black Flag, like the Necros. Look at the Necros, prime example how fast the Necros were going, breakneck speed, right? um and it just sort of, I think it was starting to, the music was really, I mean, you could always say they sounded like shit live, but I think that it started to really, if you listen to those live shows, you can really hear the decline in the fidelity of what they were doing. So, what else can I say about Tang? Tang has been around forever, and Curtis Casella. And here's the thing: as far as I know, Curtis Casella, he's still doing stuff. The Tang catalog has over 200 releases in multiple formats with international distribution. And he's still going, and they just got, you know, DYS, the Dickies, Dropkick Murphys, the Exploited, the Boys, Battalion of Saints, the Addicts, Cheap Sex, Cockspar, the Four Skins, the Freeze, Mission of Burma, Slapshot, Slaughter and the Dogs, Sloppy Seconds, SSD, Stiff Little Fingers. I mean, they put out the FUs, Last Rites, Jerry's Kids. And some of these bands, like I said, some of these bands played with the Misfits, and the Misfits got faster. You have Robo. You have Robo in the band going super fast. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to listen to. So the Misfits go up to Boston, right? They're doing two things. One, they're going on this radio show. Two, they are shooting a music video for Braineaters, and you're going to hear them talk all about that. So they shoot a music video for Braineaters, and they have some of the guys from Gangrene and a couple other bands in the video. And in the video, I who somebody lent Robo, maybe it was even Curtis. Somebody lent Robo their chef jacket, and Robo is, they have real brains in a bowl, and Robo is ladling brains into a bunch of cups, and the Misfits are singing Braineaters, and at the very end they all push Robo's face into the bowl of brains. I don't think Robo knew it was going to go down either. And then they played the Channel Club, and it was videotaped, and it's just a really great, it was on the Channel Club was an all ages show, Sunday, March 20th. $5 at the door. You had Jerry's Kids, the FUs, the Freeze. So these are all Tang bands playing with the Misfits. Doors opened at 4. It was at 25 Nico Street in Boston. And the Channel Club was a famous club, and that's a great live show of the Misfits. Like, as a document of them live, the video quality is not so bad either, and you can really get a feel for what a energetic, violent, crazy Misfit show was like. And then before they played that, they taped the video, and they'll talk about the guys who taped the show at the Channel Club also shot the video. So I mean, this band, so look, the Misfits are getting ready. The Misfits are planning on doing video VHS distribution, right? They're putting out a video. What are they going to do with the video? Get it on MTV? They talk about that, actually. You talk about it possibly going on MTV. And another thing to notice is that they're very low energy in this interview, which, again, in 20 years of being a Misfits fan, I've never heard this interview before. It's so refreshing to hear new stuff, unearthing new stuff about this band, and I love the discovery. It's one of the best parts when you discover cool shit like this. Man, 7:30, my son comes home. Fuck. I don't know if all right, we'll try. It's only 14 minutes. We'll go. We're gonna start right now. Okay, so I'm pulling this up. Here we go. Ready? Let's see. Guys, let me know if you can hear, right? Let me know if you can hear the interview.
That's Crucifix on the nightclub with.
Can you guys hear that?
Enclosure, and I'm pretty sure they should be playing pretty
Someone
soon.
tell me yes or no.
That'll be a show to check out. Before Crucifix, we heard DOA doing World War III, and Theater of Hate started us off with Freaks. The International Institute of Boston offers classes in English as a second language. All levels are taught. For further information, call 536-1081. And now I'd like to tell you about a college DJ jam featuring the Proletariat and the Peter Dayton Band. Curtis from WERS will be there spinning the discs.
Thank you,
That's
Robbie.
Wednesday night at the channel. And now, as I told you earlier, an interview with the Misfits yesterday before the show.
So, like you said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pause it from time to time to talk. So this was yesterday before the show. They did this interview, and like I said, the band sounds very low energy. Maybe they had finished doing the music video and they're just sort of like, tired. I don't know, but it's really funny. And one other thing to note: you hear Doyle briefly, and it really sounds like Doyle. And you're just kind of like, could you imagine in the pre-internet age before Doyle started, really talking for interviews, like just to hear Doyle's voice? It's kind of weird to hear him speak, really truly speak. Also, Jerry, Jerry is a crazy talker, prolific speaker. That dude talks a mile a minute, and you literally, and if you're editing Jerry, like his audio, it's impossible to stop to separate two words, because his words just smash together, and he talks so fast, blah 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 blah. And here you're going to hear Jerry when in the band with Glenn. Glenn does all the talking, and Jerry chimes in from time to time. And Jerry is just very low energy. It really do feel like it's Glenn's show. I don't know.
By our illustrious Curtis.
Doyle and Jerry were waiting for the arrival of Robo, but
So Robo's not there yet. They're waiting for him to come.
Misfits are playing tomorrow night with Impact Unit, Jerry's Kids, the FUs, and the Freeze. Guys, this is your second time to Boston, is it? Or
yeah.
The last gig went over really well. You got a lot of people in.
Yeah, for the first time, it was great.
Right, you did a video today.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, you never heard a bunch of guys more remote. Like they just shot the music video. Yeah. Like they're just so low. They're so low energy. And I've listened to a lot of radio interviews with these guys, and that's. I mean, I guess they always kind of are, but it just feels like extra cold fish today, especially for a guy Curtis. And I believe that Glenn had a good relationship with Curtis. Matter of fact, supposedly a bunch of tapes went into Curtis's possession, and from there, that's how some stuff got bootlegged. I don't know if there's any truth to that, but that was the scuttlebutt on the frequency.
That was great for the real message.
You want to tell us about that? What was it for? What song?
It's for Braineaters, and it was like real brains in it, and it was like a lot of fun. A lot of the kids from some of the Boston bands are in it, like some kids from Jerry's Kids and the FUs and Springer from SSD.
Will that be like? Do you know if that's going to be like on the clubs or?
Well, it depends.
Try everything with it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So Red Shark's putting that out, right?
Yeah, they're doing the video.
So you can hear Jerry in the background, and he does not sound like Jerry at all. He really doesn't, man. Like you can't even tell it's Jerry. It's so weird. Like we're so used to hearing Jerry talk all the time. Hey, Jerry over there. Like he's just so loud and gregarious. And here he's just so like he's very, very like mopey and emo. I don't know. I can't explain it. It's pretty funny.
Tomorrow night too.
That was great.
Because it seems like at the stuff on MTV, there's like no really good videos. I mean, all of them seem
the same,
kind of bland. Yeah,
they all seem like they're made out of the same mold. All seem like they're all made for MTV, pretty much, if you know what I mean.
And the only video that's out is Black Flag supposedly has one out of Louie, but it's like never been aired.
No, I know.
We watch it a lot. We always wait for it.
That's you can watch MTV and pretty much laugh any time of the day. Like you always look for a comedy or something to watch on TV. You should just watch MTV.
And it's interesting. So I mean, literally, like 5 years from now, Glenn is going to be, well, I don't know. Isn't Mother was banned from MTV, but not initially. Initially, Mother was on MTV. So 5 years from now, Glenn has been through Samhain, is now doing Danzig. His singing voice is at its pinnacle. His band, like the bands that he would like, the band like Tightness is in its prime. He's got that first lineup of Danzig, which is like a honed weapon. It's like a nuclear missile, man, ready to launch. And there he is, putting stuff on MTV. But back then, it's like, so what are they making this video for? Who's going to see it? Are they going to press up a bunch of tapes? Are they going to, distribute a bunch of tapes? And Glenn has talked about wanting to do, he said he wanted to put out his own cassettes. And as you'll hear in 1979, Plan 9 Records and the Fiend Club really was its own DIY distribution network. I mean, he had created a system where he was directly interacting with his customers. He had money coming directly to him with no middleman. I mean, what's to say not to, what's not to, start creating visual content like video cassettes and just sending them out? He could shoot them and send them. So the inklings of Glenn wanting to do video stuff really goes back to this time, even earlier when they were trying to do, they used Corey Rusk's Class's Umatic camera to film the Night of the Living Dead music video in Ohio. And so now they're trying to break out. And there was another video that was going to be done for Skulls, and that never either. I don't know if it was partially shot or it just never came out or whatever. You'll see a back porch video that's sort of like that uses the Skulls track, but that was taken from the last show. I think someone edited the last show to the Skulls track and tried to pass that off as the Skulls video, but that is not the Skulls video.
Yeah, or like Donnie Iris or somebody like Billy Squire, and just like start cracking up.
What bands did you like listen to when you were like before you started playing?
God, so many. There's so many.
So many.
I don't know. Just so many.
So many.
When did the Misfits start? We'll start forming as a band. Start playing.
77.
Yeah,
77.
Late 77, no?
See, that's interesting, man. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is why going through these interviews are so cool, because, he goes, when did the Misfits start? He says 77. And we all know that we always hear that it's early 77. They played the first show in April. But in 1983 on the radio, someone, I don't know if it was Glenn or Jerry, someone says late 77. Is that like an effort to say that they didn't really, late 77 is when Franche Coma joins the band and they have a guitar player. So is that to say they didn't really truly feel like they were a formed band until they had a guitar player? I don't know. Interesting though, right?
No more.
Talk about minutia.
And there's only one different member. Arthur was with the band originally, right?
Arthur.
No, we went through a load of drummers.
Yeah, we went through a load of me and Jerry are the two original members, and Doyle's Jerry's brother.
Yeah.
So another interesting. This is why I wanted to do this, because I just think it's so interesting. So, they talk about Arthur, but they go, we've been through a load of drummers, and up to that point, they have Robos in the band. So they have Robo. Before that was Googie. Before that was Joey Image. Before that was Mr. Jim. Before that was Manny. Fucking they had 5 drummers. And then technically, really, according to the Pusshead tape, before Manny was kind of Mr. Jim, although that wasn't, I guess you really can't call that Misfits. But Glenn in his, contradictory way in the Pusshead tape is going, oh, well, Jerry was not even an original member. He before him there was a girl, she was the bass player, and that's where Diane DiPiazza comes from. And you can hear Diane DiPiazza's statement given to me. I have a statement from Diane DiPiazza, who sent me a statement in response to being asked to do an interview. And, you know, I didn't get the interview with Diane DiPiazza, but her statement is everything that I would need in a soundbite. I mean, could I have gotten so much more from her? Probably, possibly. But I think that really sums up her email back to me, sums up everything that needs to be and could be said about her involvement with the band. So I'm excited to reveal that at some point. But you hear here, you know, with Jerry present, Jerry and I are the two original guys because Jerry is the original guy. So no matter what is said, and, you know, for instance, in 1979, I'm like, you know, I kind of have like a thing at the beginning where it goes back and forth about, like, you know, the formation of the band. And you know, it's just letting everybody tell it the way they remember it. And in that, I included the Pusshead tape where Glenn talks about, no, actually, it was Diane DiPiazza was the first one. And, you know, the truth of the matter is, man, it was Jerry. The band became the band when it was Jerry, Glenn, and Manny. That was it. But, you know, hands down, bar none, right? And that's just further backed up here where, you know, and the mention of Doyle is, you know, Doyle was roadieing and was around even from the beginning, even as a little tyke before he was groomed to replace Bobby Steele at the age of 16 in 1980.
Doyle came in about 3 years down the road, and then Robo just came recently.
How did Robo come in?
Doyle came in 3 years down the road, and Robo came in recently. How did you go about getting Robo?
And I mean,
He gave us
speaking of Robo, here he comes.
Robo!
The brain swallower.
Got a seat for you here, Robo.
And you can kind of tell, I mean, just listening to that, I kind of get the feeling that, like, Robo was such a, you know, they like would rag on Robo and, like, you know, kind of, I don't know. It just seems like a lot of pleasure was derived from Robo, as you can see in the Braineaters video when they push his head into the brains, you know. I've heard a few fun stories about Robo.
Never get a level on him.
Okay,
Well, he called us up on the phone.
Uh-huh.
That was it.
And he said, I want to play with...
Yeah.
Robo, how'd you start with the Misfits?
Move that mic.
Well, I already was looking for a drummer. So I give Glenn a call and we got it happening.
And now he's stuck at my house. Someone take him.
So he playfully says, and now he's stuck at my house. So what happened was, you know, so Robo was in Black Flag. They go over, Black Flag goes over to England, comes back. Robo can't come back. Robo has always had visa problems all the way up until very recently, in the most recent years when he was in Jerry's Misfits. And to the point where the Chupacabra goat replaced him completely because Robo had a lot of problems with his visas. I don't know the whole deal, but even back then he had problems with his visas. Black Flag returns to Los Angeles. They get a new drummer, Emil, I forget his last name, who was their drummer for the duration of 1982. And Robo called up the Misfits. And what happened? So Robo comes to Lodi. He lives with Glenn in his basement. So Robo and Glenn are roommates. And from my understanding, one of the contributing factors to Robo like leaving the band was just like Glenn and Robo could not get along living in that basement. Like they just were at each other's throats. Like just imagine why, you know, they have Henry and Glenn. Why doesn't somebody do a comic book series of Robo and Glenn living in the basement at 49 MacArthur? That'd be so funny. Like, you know, Mama Anzalone calling up, being like, who wants garlic bread? That's another story that I heard from another one of Glenn's band members. Damien was talking about the garlic bread. So yeah, I don't know. I just thought it'd be funny though. But you can hear a little bit. You can hear Glenn kind of being like, "Oh God, I can't wait to get rid of this guy." Like, you know, in the set, not from the band, but just like, you know, maybe thinking that eventually Robo will get himself set up, and he doesn't. He's still at Glenn's house, probably sleeping on a couch or something in the basement. And so, Glenn is like 28 years old, living in his parents' basement, and he's got Robo, who's like probably like 30 or something, 31, also living in the basement, and just driving Glenn crazy. And you know, Robo would hang around. Robo eventually went to work for Jerry's. I think maybe even while he was still in the Misfits, he worked for Jerry and Doyle's father at Pro Edge. They all worked there. So even in the 80s, if you think about it, 3/4 of the Earth AD lineup were working together at Pro Edge. You know, you would have think that maybe they would turn into a power trio. Rich Vega says, "Hey, what's up, Brew? How are you?" Rich Vega says, "Eating all the damn Count Chocula. Damn it, Robo!" All right, let's listen on.
You're in Black Flag at the time when you called him?
No, I was out.
Uh-huh.
But now he's a superstar.
That's it.
Yeah, he looked really good in the videos today.
I know.
He looked like a real waiter when he was like,
Really?
It's nice to see him work.
when
You
you
got a new job for you when you get home.
He says you have a nice
What's
job
the
for
plans
you
for the
when you get
Misfits?
home.
Do you have like you planned to go abroad at all, or
This is
over
interesting.
there to England? Or
Hopefully, really mainly Germany.
Germany?
So Curtis asked them about England and Glenn, and just here's Glenn's response. This is how Glenn feels about England. This is how the band feels about England in 1983.
Really,
Mhm.
like, and maybe like Denmark type area and Holland, but like,
He's talking about if they did go to Europe, and this is in March, mind you, Earth AD has not come out yet. It's gonna come out later. They are at, I don't know if at this time it's being booked, but at some point they do eventually get, they have a German label is going to distribute Wolf's Blood, right? And they are, I think, Aggravate Records, I don't know. Something like that. They are going to distribute Wolf's Blood, and they are planning to go to Germany after Halloween, right? So there is something in the works. They're talking about where they want to go, but one of the places is not England.
as far as England goes, we're not really. I don't know. Do you on England?
Fuck England.
I'm really not. You know, I don't really care that much about England. You
Uh-huh.
know.
No, I was over there. I was surprised that a few people heard of the Misfits because you had some releases that were released over there.
Yeah, we did like an aborted tour over there. We
Uh-huh.
like went over and then we did a few gigs and found out we weren't getting paid, so we came home.
Who did they bill you with in England?
Damn.
The Damned.
So that's interesting, the way that that's how they, and you know, it's funny, there's a press release. That's how they view that. That's how they view how that went down. I think that's pretty accurate, actually. I think that's the way to look at it. It was an aborted tour. They thought they were going to get paid. They didn't get paid. However, what they're not telling Curtis is that they had no contracts with the guys in the Damned. As we're going to deep dive fully into this in 1979. That's what I'm working on right now. It's all in there. The whole kit and caboodle about England, as best as I could piece it together. And they kind of, and some of this is going to be added to that as well. And it's just kind of interesting how they view it. They view it as like, you know, they were expecting to get paid without any contracts, and they had a lot of problem with Damned's management, as you're going to hear him say in just a moment.
Yeah.
How was playing with the Damned? How did you like the guys in the Damned as a band?
I didn't like them as a band at that point, really. I mean, they were all right, but they were nothing that I would like say, wow, the Damned, you know.
Uh-huh.
Like, I had seen them came over when they had Brian James and stuff,
Right.
and I really liked them then, but it was just like a totally different band.
So if they saw them when they came over, I don't know when the first time the Damned came over. It might have been in 77 or 76. But one thing is for certain, that first lineup definitely influenced the Misfits, obviously, in a big way. Maybe it was the Damned along with the Ramones that informed them that they needed to get a guitar, that was the sound that they wanted. They wanted to split the difference between the Damned and the Ramones in that sort of way, and almost maybe even do Damned songs, but more simplified, like the Ramones. And yeah,
It was like, Dave's cool.
Yeah, we got
Dave's
the
cool.
Shaft too. Yeah.
Yeah.
They give you
He says we got the Shaft. Dave is cool. So at this time, Glenn, I don't know if they rehearsed it or not. They might have even rehearsed Archangel, but Glenn is like reaching out to Dave Vanian still at this time because he wants him to sing on this Archangel song. And so Glenn's mind, he's still cool, but the rest of them, not so much.
Bullshit equipment and. Yeah,
They cut the
real-
PA
real-
in
yeah,
half
yeah,
one
real
year,
bullshit.
cut
So
the
it wasn't-
lights
it
in half
wasn't
one
No,
year.
it sucked. They don't let you go out there and do anything.
I mean, listen to Jerry's voice. It's so weird to hear him talk like that, you know? And yeah, like that was the problem. They didn't bring any equipment over. The Dam wouldn't let them use equipment. They had really shitty equipment. There's a whole thing about Joey Image's drum head. You're going to hear all about it. You know, he just had shitty drum head from a snare drum from 1932 that didn't work properly.
They don't really even give you pretty much a chance. You just
Well, it
gotta
wasn't
go out
them
there.
actually. It was their manager, but that's
Yeah, the management.
it doesn't make a difference. It happened.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
How'd the kids respond to the Misfits in England?
Well, we were like the opening act on the bill. Real, they were just like, let's give these guys shit. And by the end of the set, they were just going nuts, and they'd want more, and we just say, fuck you, limeys.
So Peter asks, Peter, by the way, I don't know if you listened to the previous episode. We gave you a shout out, buddy, for purchasing a cup of coffee. I don't know if you were there for that. So I just wanted to tip my hat to you again, since I see you here now. Your name has been added to the credits. Peter says, didn't Bobby Steele get into a fight with Captain Sensible? Bobby Steele punched Captain Sensible in the face. I forget the reason why. Maybe it was just because Captain Sensible is like he's an imp, he's impish, he's mischievous, and back then, probably a snotty young guy from England in one of the hottest punk bands out there, that sort of situation. And Bobby Steele supposedly punched him right in the face. Supposedly I had heard a long time ago, and maybe it's in one of my tapes, I don't know, I can never find anything about this online, but that the idea, the name, the Spaghetti Incident from Guns N' Roses actually dates back to when the Misfits were on the tour with the Damned, and that backstage there was a spaghetti fight. There was a fight with spaghetti, and it was called the Spaghetti Incident, and that maybe it was Duff who suggested that they named their album that. I am not saying that is true. Again, I know there's some other explanation for that Guns N' Roses thing on the internet, but I just remember hearing that somewhere, and I can't find anything to back up where I heard that from. But I remember hearing that. I'm just saying that.
So you like America a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's far.
Do you don't play out that much though? Like, this is like as far as the Misfits playing out.
We take big steps when we play out. We don't, we move from town to town. We'll move.
I really like that. I really like that answer. I think that is incredibly accurate. We take big steps when we play out. That's so true, man. I mean, that's the example. I mean, look, the Irving Plaza gigs, you know what I mean? Like, just they were at this time, as Tony Matura says from his interview. By the way, we have another interview coming up, guys, with another dude who has a remarkable story that we're going to hear live on the air. I can't wait for that. And we're going to have video this time. It won't just be that shitty doing the phone to the mic. And fuck, what was I just saying? I lost my place. Yeah, that they really did. They made big steps. That's what they did. They took big steps when they did play. When they did
halfway across the country to do a show from one show to the next.
Yeah, we pretty much we just came back from our third cross country tour. So we just, hanging now. It's like, 'cause you're out on the road for like a month straight. You start to go, not nuts, but you just, you know what I mean? You want to come back and hang around for a little while, and then you want to go out again, but you don't want to just stay out on the road nonstop.
So I've heard that from musicians. I've seen that from musicians. I've heard musicians go like, I'm sick and tired. I don't want to be on the road. I'm ready to throw in the towel, and a couple years go by, and then suddenly they're chomping at the bit because it's all they know. But in my very limited experience on being on tour with the band, it is fucking really rough. Especially, I can't even imagine at that level that they were doing it at. And I would say the level that I was doing at it at was maybe slightly better in the sense that we had a GPS and they probably didn't. They did not. They had maps. That's how you got around back then. Could you imagine? You hear the stories of Black Flag doing the Creepy Crawl, which was their nickname for like the never ending tour, and they would just route across the country. It was them and DOA. DOA was from Canada and Black Flag was from California, and these two bands after the Ramones, on a DIY level, started just crisscrossing and spider webbing across the United States. Pretty soon you have these lists of phone numbers where people, oh yeah, you could book a show with this guy, oh you could crash at his floor, these resources, and you're just sort of just crisscrossing the thing, and you don't have there's no phones, there's no Waze, there's no Google Maps. You have a road map, and it's just you and the road and the road map and whatever familiarity you might have from previous with the terrain. Holy shit, we got 15 minutes, motherfucker. All right,
without maybe a break, because you go a little.
Yeah, all the places we go around, every time we go around, it just gets stronger and stronger, which is good.
That's great.
So the show.
That's true, man. You get stronger and stronger. That's the one advice I've heard from musicians and what I've seen from the most popular DIY independent musicians. You know what you do? You fucking play. You go out, you play a city, you hit a bunch of cities, you come home, you regroup, you go back out, and hopefully the last time you played was so good that person brings a couple more people, and you keep hitting these places, and you keep gradually expanding the ground you're covering. And that's how you do it, man. That's how you fucking make something of yourself. You just tour. You gotta tour. You gotta be willing to sacrifice it all to tour. And even the Misfits eventually, after doing that sporadic, when we play big, they started doing these cross-country jaunts. Only a few bands at their level were doing this sort of thing. As we just said, you had DOA, you had Black Flag. I mean, more bands are starting to do it at this point, but there are like these people, like these bands, they're just hopping in vans and doing this shit. It's kind of insane when you think about it. It's kind of crazy. They truly are trailblazers in the hardcore punk circuit.
Those we do are a lot better, bigger, more people.
Yeah, you should be getting a good crowd.
Yeah, it's starting to come along.
Because
That's
bigger,
when,
more people.
That's when it pays to go. Yeah.
Especially all ages gigs, because the all ages gigs in Boston go over a lot better than.
Yeah, well,
that's all
that's
over,
like
though.
what
That's
a
all
lot
over.
of the club owners don't seem to understand is that most of the people that like the kind of music we're doing are, I mean, there are kids over age who like what we're doing. I guess they're not kids, I don't know, but like for the main part, it's pretty much a young audience.
The thing is, though, the kids, when you're doing all ages, the kids who go, they're there for the music, and the older people who go
Are there to
usually
drink?
it's secondary, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you see,
Isn't that interesting? The older people are there to drink, and the younger kids are there for the music. This is where they go to, get their kicks. What's going on, Russell Casualty? How are you? We owe a debt of gratitude to Russell Casualty for digging up this wonderful gem of a radio show. Thank you to Russell Casualty for finding this. By the way, Russell, this is not on Misfit Central. This interview. This which leads me to believe there's so much shit out there that we just don't know about. Just because they don't say it on the internet. It exists, man. Kind of crazy. Anyway,
we want to play to the people that care, what kind of music we're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're not really making all that much money out of what we're doing. Usually we break even. And so we want to play to people who really appreciate what we're doing, as opposed to just being a band up there. Could be any old jack-off band, and so somebody can guzzle some drinks. I mean, that's cool for the club owner's point of view. I can understand that he wants to make money off his drinks. But, for us, like, like when the energy level is, when the energy level is there, you play a hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? And Doyle, I think, talks about this in his recent interviews, and the idea of like, if you're playing like a club or you're playing, oh no, actually he was saying something different. He was saying that it's harder to play small clubs than it is to bigger clubs. But in general, whatever you're playing on the stage, when you feel that energy, when you feel the adrenaline, I've seen it from being on the side of the stage. but I've definitely felt it being a member of an audience. You know, when you feel you give the energy to the person singing, and then they give it back to you, and it's like this rubber band effect that goes back and forth and creates this. Everything just sort of shakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the kids are getting off. You're getting off. Everybody's getting off. Whereas you just play
Getting
to somebody who's there just to pick up a girl, or it's like a pickup bar. You're not gonna.
And you can see that too in the way that you see all these photos of Glenn holding out the mic, or getting real close with everybody in the microphone. Letting people sing into the mic. I mean, this is why these guys break their asses. They're breaking their necks to do this sort of thing, because for that feeling, I mean, isn't that why people do it? Isn't that why people put up with all the crazy shit, for that feeling that they get when they're on stage and get that energy?
Really even be bothered with.
It was strange you guys played in a church.
That was good.
I thought it was cool.
Did you set up that, or
the guys Steve from the FU
from
set
the
that
FUs,
up?
right?
Yeah,
that was great.
That was a good gig, yeah. Did
One of the better ones.
The club owners, or not the club owner, the church owners, how do they feel about it?
I don't think they really minded at first, but then like afterwards, the floor I heard had gotten like real fucked up.
Yeah, they had like square dancing the next night or something, and the floor had like all hail marks on it.
Well, I don't know. The show was real good.
So
had a lot.
Yeah. A lot of people showed up. It's like they came out of the woodwork for that, and very little advertisement too, for the Misfit show.
So hopefully this one will even be better.
Well, this one has a little bit more, definitely.
And it would be better. I mean, as we just said, the Channel Club show was a phenomenal show in the Misfits history. They're about to start talking about the collecting aspect of the Misfits in 1983. This blew my mind. This is the state of Misfits collecting in 1983. Prepare yourself for this. Ready?
A lot more
Yeah,
advertising.
that's what we heard.
And any plans for like anything on vinyl, like a record or LP?
Yeah, well, Evilive records just for the fan club that we have, just for the fan club members. That's out now.
What is it?
All right. So before I say what I'm about to say, Russell Casualty wants to give full disclosure. A guy named Michael McGlynn sent this interview in to TV Casualty back in March. The recognition is his. So Michael McGlynn, we salute you for bringing us this never before heard Misfits interview. This is really fucking cool. Thank you, sir. Truly a remarkable document of this band at this time. That's really allowing us to sort of have this sort of idea of who these guys were. And like I said, I don't see a band that's on the verge of breaking up. I see a band that's only looking to expand, especially with what you're about to hear next. So they talk about vinyl. So he's talking about they've done the Fiend Club version of Evilive, 7 songs on a 7-inch disc, only available for their Fiend Club. There's only 100. So the 1,100 were pressed up, according to Glenn, in the interview, and they sold out. They sold out of that initial edition, right? Or they sold enough. I think they had a couple records left, where maybe 100 records left, because Glenn made those Evilive 3-packs, and he did 33 of those with 3 records. So that's 99 records. So they sold what? They sold 1,000 records through the Fiend Club. I mean, that's the type of powerful DIY, customer network that they had. I mean, they were directly linked to their customers. Fucking crazy shit. That's crazy to me. That blows my mind.
It's Evilive. It's 7 live songs.
And you have to be part of the Misfits Fiend Club.
Yeah, and there's only 1,100. And we haven't even sent out the mailer on it yet, and like 200 are sold.
So they hadn't even sent out the mailer to like pre-order it or whatever. They already had sold 200. Maybe they're bringing them to gigs. I mean, they were, and then think about that. How much is one? Let's do a little math. Fuck, 7 minutes. Whatever. We have to do this. We're just gonna make it. Let's do a little math here. So they sold 200. Let's say that they're selling them at $5 a pop. I don't know if it actually was $5 a pop. Maybe it was $3 a pop still. Times 3. Let's say $3 conservatively. That's $600. Actually, that doesn't seem like so much money. well, what's $600 in 1983? What is $600 in 1983 dollars?
Here is information from Inflation Calculator.
Wow. So that's $960.85. So maybe it really is kind of like breaking even. It doesn't seem so crazy. But if they were to sell out of those eventually, shit. Let's see here. So let's see. I mean, I really have nothing to go on. What does anybody know how much an Evilive cost through the Fiend Club? Maybe it was more. Maybe it was $6 or $7. Point is that they were making. I mean, look, they're independently pressing up vinyl in the 80s as a band. It's fucking crazy.
We get a lot of calls, like people trying to get a hold of Misfits records, stuff like let's see, what was it? Where Eagles Dare with Ratfink on it, and We Are 138. Is there any possible way of getting a hold of those records?
So even as far back as 1983, because here's a band that pressed up a ton of vinyl super early in their career and left, the corpse that the Misfits left, besides everything that they left, besides leaving us the Fiend skull, besides leaving us all the stuff, the thing that they left was all the fucking songs that they put out on vinyl. There are not a lot of bands. I mean, look at a great example of a band like the Stimulators, right? Stimulators they played a full set of songs, right? But what songs do you really know besides that live thing that came out from CBGB? The two songs, Run, Run, Run and Loud, Fast Rules. Why? Because it came out on a 7-inch. That was the only 7-inch that they put out back then. It just got re-put out on Frontier Records with help from Henry Rollins. So it's like the Misfits, on the flip side of that, the Misfits had how many, right? Like how many releases? Those early records are artifacts that are perfectly preserved on vinyl, and people are making tapes of that and trading it around. Even back in 1983, there was a demand for the early stuff and a demand to repress this stuff. And the band has only been together for 6 years.
Unless you go to a collector's record store and
You hear that? Unless you go to a collector's record store. This is 1983. Mind you, they're still going to put out, they haven't even put out Earth AD yet. Wolf's Blood hasn't come out yet. Die Die My Darling hasn't come out yet. Legacy of Brutality hasn't come out yet. The collection 1 or 2. And already this shit is high in demand. If you had any sense back then of how valuable and collectible this shit is, and these things haven't come out yet, let alone Initium and Unholy Passion and November Coming Fire. I mean, it's crazy.
Maybe if you pick up a copy of Beware, that's got like the first.
That's even harder to get than the singles now.
Yeah.
Talking about go pick up a copy of Beware, which I think they pressed up a lot of those. There were a lot of Bewares out there. It's hard to come by now, but back then there were a lot. The 10-inch, it was their only 10-inch release.
All around in Boston it is, yeah. The only thing that's available by the Misfits to anybody is probably Walk Among Us or the Halloween single. That's it. 0.
Well, 3 Hits from Hell is available.
London Dungeons.
Yeah.
Right, and that sold really well. 3 Hits from Hell sold really well for them. The Halloween single sold really well for them. Walk Among Us is doing well, not initially, but that would go on to being Slash's best-selling record. So much so, I mean, think about how many times they've repressed. And as I said in the last episode, did I say it in the last episode or was it the episode before? They are fucking crazy. Glenn is crazy not to repress the Samhain catalog. He's crazy not to do it. Just look at how people are going frenzying over Walk Among Us. I mean, you could endlessly, you would think that the oversaturation of Walk Among Us would make them less valuable, but it seems that they're only getting more valuable. Why? Because it's like every time you add a pressing, it makes like the people want to have a complete collection of Walk Among Us's. So in order to have a complete collection of Walk Among Us's, you have to collect every single variety. So if Earache is only putting 300 of Braineater Red out, I mean, people need to get that in order to have a complete collection of Walk Among Us's. So it just kind of, in a way, it almost makes it more. It's like it's desaturating the market by adding more pressings. It's making it hard because your collection is not complete unless you have every single one. And if you're doing them in limited quantities, they're going to sell out their value is going to skyrocket. You know, buying anything Misfits, Samhain, or Danzig related, maybe even bootlegs, I would say, can net you a pretty penny. I have a bootleg of Spook City USA and Children in Heat on purple vinyl. They only did a limited run. It was a bootleg, a 7-inch, or maybe it's, and with Spook City USA, Ratfink, and Children in Heat on purple vinyl. And that goes for over $100 now. And I paid $7 for it. So it's kind of like, or as far as my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong. Crazy.
That's Streets from Hell, 45. Yeah, we've got some newer stuff coming out too, like another EP, Die Die My Darling. And then the new album.
And then think about that. Die Die My Darling is coming out. Die Die My Darling has not been combined with Earth AD yet to make a longer album version of Earth AD. So there's still 3 unheard Misfit songs, except for Mommy, which is a live version on Walk Among Us. So there's a studio version of Mommy. There is Die Die My Darling, and there's We Bite. And these songs have not been heard yet.
Album should be ready, what, in about a month or 2?
Yeah, we'd rather put out new stuff. You know, the old stuff would be nice to repress, but when you ain't got the money, you just go with something new.
We're going to say.
Jerry says the old stuff would be nice to repress, but we ain't got the money.
So you're going to have the new stuff.
Yeah.
So the old stuff.
So they got to focus on the new stuff. Here's a band, and also this is a punk band that independently has only been together for 6 years. They've recorded at this point up to 3 albums, and they've put out like 5 or 6 singles. It's fucking insane. Technically, wait, 12 Hits from Hell, Walk Among Us, Earth AD, and Static Age. So they've done 4. I mean, the Misfits were prolific. They were absolutely prolific in what they did. Gordon says, are we expecting the recent Samhain and Danzig boots to increase in value over the years? Gordon, I don't know. I don't know enough about the market. And you know who I'd love to get on here, actually? The guy from Fiend Collectors. I'd love to have him on the show. Matter of fact, gonna do that. Gonna make that happen. Gonna talk to that guy. Because I would love to ask him all these questions myself and find out. But I would say that the boots are not going to stop. People are going to keep booting that stuff until official stuff comes out. I think anybody would rather have official stuff, not just to support the bands, but also because it's going to be more valuable, ultimately. The only stuff that's boot that's going to be super rare and collectible is stuff like Final Descent, 12 Hits from Hell on vinyl. I just think Glenn, man, Uncle Glenn, message to Uncle Glenn, get off your fucking ass and repress this stuff, man. You're sitting on a gold mine, you know? And it's like, could you imagine if there are any, I know for a fact, I have heard Samhain jams. That's right. There are Samhain jams that predate Initium. Just Glenn and Steve Zing in Steve Zing's room at his apartment complex right near Grove Street, where he used to listen to the band rehearse. And those are instrumentals. So that exists. And I know there's another song, right? There's another unreleased Samhain. There's got to be more. There's got to be more unreleased Samhain shit. More than what we saw on Final Descent. Unless Glenn scraped the bottom of the vaults then and there. But boy, I mean, that's one thing. You know, Glenn does not give a shit much about his past or documenting his past. But he sure doesn't mind doing retrospectives in the sense that he did the Lost Tracks of Danzig, which is essentially an unreleased Danzig box set, if you think about it. He did the Misfits box set, or he at least allowed the Misfits box set, and he did the Samhain box set. Peter says, the Black Dream bootleg is great. I agree, man. I dig it. I got all that shit. It's great. And Peter also says, I wonder who got that alternate version of November's Fire. Whoa, talk to me about that. Peter, please explain. Look at this picture of Peter with Glenn in the picture. That's great. That's a cool picture, Peter. Talk to me about this alternate version of November's Fire. I have it. I think maybe that's circulating, the November's Fire. That there's an alternate version. Wow. Oh my God. You just jogged my memory. Maybe I'm wrong. There are alternate mixes or alternate tracks of November's Fire that are out there. Maybe it's actually on the Black Dream bootleg. I don't know. You just jogged my memory just now. Peter says it's a slower version. I don't know, man. I don't know. Russell says, I'm really curious why Glenn doesn't go after those counterfeiters of the full albums. Those that are coming out now. I mean, yeah, it's just kind of stupid. Like, why let that happen? Why not do what you're doing with Danzig Sings Elvis? Glenn's pressing up and people are buying it. People want everything, even the shit that doesn't play. Yes, Robbie, you're right. It's called The Urge. Thank you. That's not the thing that I heard. What I heard was instrumentals. And it doesn't sound like Samhain. It's just Steve doing blast beats, not blast beats, just doing like that 1-2 hardcore beat and Glenn playing guitar. And it's really fucking cool. Unless Glenn is involved. I mean, come on. I don't think so, man. There's been many a rumor back in the day about the the whole Cough Cool debacle. I don't believe that. I think Glenn would much rather see his stuff come out officially. All right, let's finish this interview. My son is 4 minutes late to being home. Shit.
The old stuff is like
now.
been pressed, you know what I mean?
No, not yet.
So it's not like there's not copies out there. It's just that they're all bought up, and that, after a certain amount, you really don't want to press anymore. You know what I mean? It's like get onto the new stuff.
Right.
So
the Misfits on the album, though, they when I saw you live at the church, a lot different.
So that's pretty cool. He's saying at some point you don't want to keep pressing. He says at some point you don't want to keep pressing the old stuff. You want to move on to the new stuff. And again, if you're a DIY band, there's only so much, right? There's only so much that you can afford to spend on. If you're putting stuff out, you have to prioritize. At some point you have to stop repressing your stuff, unless you're making so much money hand over fist that you could do that. And maybe they weren't making enough money hand over fist to be doing that. I don't know. Who fucking knows? Peter says, I asked Glenn about the Urge. He said he lost the tape. That's a shame. You know who the real guy to ask about that? I mean, maybe not, but I think the real guy is Tom Begowitz would be the better guy to ask, Peter. I know you're like, what? Glenn's not the better guy to ask? The only reason why I say is because Glenn turned over all the stuff to Tom. He gave all the tapes to Tom. And maybe unless he lost that tape before he handed all the masters to Tom at Caroline Records. But I don't think Glenn's, that's what happened. You know what happened with Cough Cool? Cough Cool, everybody knows the story. Cough Cool is taken from Eerie Vaughn's copy. They had to do a transfer because the tape is missing. And on that tape, I shit you not, on that tape, there is a third track. That's right. There are not 2 tracks recorded for the Cough Cool sessions. There were 3. Russell Casualty says, are you talking about that almost country sounding jam with Glenn and Steve? I don't know. I don't remember. Russell, I don't remember it sounding country. Maybe it was. It was just, all I know was instrumental. It was an instrumental jam between Glenn and Steve. That's what I heard. That was what was played for me by a person who played it for me. It was not, I don't know. I wouldn't call it almost country personally, but maybe I'm wrong. This was God 8-9 years ago too, so I really don't remember it. I'm trying my best to remember that Manny tape. I don't have any room for anything else in my mind, West End Avo, West End Avo, West End Avo, do 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 do. Infant, stranger, infant, stranger, infant. Stranger, dun 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 dun. I've seen it. Dun 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 dun.
From the album,
yeah,
is very frantic when you put on a show.
It's very frantic.
We'd always wanted to put out like a studio album, We'd like to get the live sound in the studio. We tried to get it with his bass, but trying to get Doyle's guitar to sound like it does live It's like real hard. The new stuff we did.
Trying to get Doyle sound like it does on the live stuff is real hard. I love how the artistic seriousness that they're trying to of replicating the horrible live sound from we all know how horrible it was. I love you, Uncle Glenn. I love you, Uncle Jerry, but come on. It's not those that it's not, it doesn't sound good, man. It's tough. It's rough. It's rough around the edges. But hold on, let's replay what they're saying here. Hold on one second.
It sort of comes close because it's not live.
They're not used to making it sound like that. The engineers and producers, they're used to making a studio type sounding.
Trying to get it real slick.
They worry about going in the red.
Hold on,
it's like real hard. The new stuff we did sort of comes close because it's not live. Yeah.
It's very frantic when you put on a show.
Well, it's like we'd always wanted to put out like a studio album, you know. We'd like to get the live sound in the studio. We tried to get it with his bass, but trying to get Doyle's guitar to sound like it does live, it's like real hard. The new stuff we did sort of comes close because it's not live.
They're not used to making it sound like that. The engineers and producers, they're used to making a studio type sounding.
Trying to get it real slick.
They worry about going in the red a little bit and shit like this. Our needles just bang all over the place, and they just go their own
They don't
way.
want to play loud,
There, that was Doyle. And you can hear his voice. So what's interesting is they're talking about how they want to get a live sound. And when you think about it, Earth AD is a live album. They recorded it live. I mean, so is Static Age, but Earth AD is like just the three of them in a room. Glenn, excluding Glenn, is just the three of them in a room, full bleed through, just going through the set. And you can't deny that Earth AD is probably the best the Misfits will ever sound live. The original Misfits, right? In that sort of way. Well, depending on which version of the band you're speaking of, but with Doyle, let's say with Doyle, with the classic lineup, Earth AD, the record, the studio record Earth AD is the best the Misfits are going to sound live, or at least the most polished in that way and aggressive, you know?
It's not really effective. You have to play it loud.
And what they would do is when they were done, when they would do that, the ends of those songs, that feedback that you're hearing is them throwing their guitars in the room and closing the door and just letting the guitar so they would throw the guitar into the room, close the door, slam it shut, and then record that. That's what the ends of those Earth AD songs are.
Well, that's what we did just now out in LA with Spot guy who works with Black Flag. It's just like Doyle cranked his amps up. It's like,
yeah, we did it live in a live room all at one time with all, we had bleeding and everything in it. So.
You hear that? He says they did it all live at the same time with the bleed, and that's why Earth AD, you can't replicate Earth AD. It's like this organic, that music is like an organic creature that can't be replicated in that way. Nothing replicates it. It's kind of perfect, man. Peter says, and I've never listened to it. Peter says that German pressing of Earth AD sounds way better than the US version. Man, I would love to fucking hear that. If anybody has the rip of the German pressing of Earth AD, I would like to hear it. What's the reason? Does anybody know the reason why Earth AD can never be remastered? I forget that reason. There's a reason why you can never remaster Earth AD. It has something to do with the tapes. Maybe it's because the tapes were gone or destroyed or whatever. I don't think this is the same reason why this isn't the same as the legend of Tom Begowitz digitizing the Misfits master tapes as they're literally disintegrating. Greatest story of all time.
Came out great. It jumps right off, which is what we always wanted.
Yeah.
They always stuck us on there.
I got one question for Robo.
Before that question for Robo, I really like Mike Watson's comment, and there's a lot to say here. Oh, shit. What just happened? Mike Watson says, Glenn's vocals were way more... I wish Glenn's vocals were way more prominent in Earth AD. Not a complaint, though. Man, I am the same fucking way. His vocals are way too buried, man. They're way too buried, but that's part of the problem for Earth AD. Earth AD is this entire new beast of Misfits, right? They are going full breakneck speed. There is no place for Glenn to do the full-on harmony thing. He's barking everything. and his vocals are buried, man. And maybe that's part of the reason why, you know, as I said in one of the first episodes here, if you go back to our very first episode, the Misfits music, Ramones style buzzsaw punk rock, surfing with melodic vocals surfing on top. That's what it is, man. Beautiful melodic baritone, whatever, you know, crooning vocals surfing on top of this wave of just breakneck punk. And that formula gets destroyed with Earth AD. Earth AD goes so breakneck that melody just gets fucked up, as we said earlier in this episode. So a question for Robo.
Robo, do you still keep in contact with any members of Black Flag?
Oh yeah, every time I go to LA.
Oh yeah. So you see Henry and those guys.
Yeah, no, they're good friends with everybody. They're all,
Yeah.
we're
So
always
at this
together.
point, they're good friends
Well,
still
that's
with.
how he had found out how to join.
They're still good friends with Black Flag at this point. Okay, so check this out. So Peter says Glenn sent the tapes to Germany and they never came back. Wow. So that's why. So when Glenn sent the tapes for, I guess, you know, for them to do Wolf's Blood, they never returned, and that's why you can't mix. Isn't that a shame? Wouldn't you have loved to hear all the shit that's probably on those tapes? Probably maybe some secret tracks that were turned off. Who knows? There's all sorts of jazz like that happens in recording. That is, to me, these are the greatest crimes. When things are recorded and the master tapes go missing or destroyed in some way, when things are lost to time forever. And even the people that like bootleg stuff or record stuff or whatever, you know, it may be wrong ethically, but at the same time, it's almost like insurance that it will maybe it's wrong on an exploitative level for sure, especially if you're trying to make money off of it. But if you're just trying to preserve something that could be destroyed in the owner's hands, I fully support that sort of thing. You know, if you're looking at it from an Indiana Jones, this belongs in the museum perspective. I don't know. Gordon says, see, this is why I don't like Earth AD. It's too fast. So all the subtlety and melody gets lost. I mean, listen, that's your taste, man. And it's totally valid. I disagree. I love Earth AD for different reasons. I mean, what you just stated is not the only thing that makes the Misfits perfect. The Earth AD stuff is its own thing. As I said, this band is really 4 or 5 bands in one band. And the Earth AD band is really Earth AD. In the same way that Static Age Misfits is really just Static Age. Like, it's almost like you could call them, oh, Static Age, oh, Earth AD. I mean, not really, it's the Misfits, but still. Mike Watson says, agreed. German press sounds better. Again, not a complaint, maybe a little one.
Like, you know, that we were looking for a drummer because
go
we
down
were
to look at
like
it.
friends with those guys. And then he had come back to LA and they, you know, right? You know, looking for a
They
band.
wouldn't pay him $1 million, so we
We paid him $1 million in rotten brains.
All right. Well, that's it, guys.
good enough.
Okay. Thanks for the Misfits for coming up.
Okay.
Sure.
And-
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. This will be after the fact, right?
Well, the interview will be on afterwards, but I
Oh, you missed us.
a lot of people are going to show up. I can feel
Yeah,
it.
they know it's a video too.
I think so. Yeah. Red Shark has their flyers up.
Yeah,
So.
they're great.
All right.
Red
All right,
Shot.
Thanks a lot.
Those are the guys who.
The one, the only Misfits.
All right. So that's the interview. I just posted it in the comments. Check it out. We're at the end of the episode here, guys. So just a little bit of housekeeping here. Here, we're gonna add to stream. Hold on. Let's see what happens when I do that. Oh. Okay. Hold on one second. How do we get share screen? Got it. Boom. So here's the flyer. So real quick, couple of things before we bounce out of here, because I got to go chill with my son. So there's the flyer for the show at the church, right? This is a church, or no, it's the Channel Club, but it looks like a church. This live performance is gonna be captured on videotape. So that's what it looked like, right? Red Shark, sorry. Red Shark is the group that shot the Misfits music video, but also shot the Channel Club show. So it's by Red Shark, right? This is so on Misfit Central here, as you can see on Misfit Central, there it goes from 1981 to 1986. So this was a unheard discovery made by both what was that guy's name? Russell, by both Russell and Matt or Mike or whoever he was, who gave it to here we go, Michael. So both Russell and Michael, congratulations for discovering something unknown to at least to me. Maybe some other people have heard it, but surely nobody who is familiar with anything with Misfit Central. I don't know. Kind of crazy. Really, really crazy situation. So there's that. We talked about Tang Records. All right. Here's Robbie Bloodshed. So real quick, let's just once again, if you have people out there, if you have something that you want me to pimp or to, like, you know, promote on the show in any way, shape, or form, get in touch, send it over. I'll do an unboxing the way I did for Robbie just now, and we'll promote it because you know what? I like promoting independent created art. And so Robbie is a very talented musician. Look at this. Look at his work here, man. I really do appreciate this art, this Static Age inspired art. I think Robbie comes from the mindset of like trying to channel Glenn Danzig from 1978. So you can pre-order the compact disc for $10. Okay. And then you can get a bundle. Check out the bundle. So this is what I received, some of it. So you have the beautiful enamel pin. You have the patch. You have this so you did put it on a t-shirt. Great job, Robbie. Looks great in the orange and purple. You have the NYC Tonight Robbie Bloodshed pin, these pins, and you got the air freshener. That comes in the bundle. Okay. So you can support in the creation of independent art. I'm putting that link one more time in there. Okay. Next thing I'm going to pimp. So here it is, the sour cream shirt. Sour cream. Look at that. That's November Fire pure natural sour cream, baby. Be the coolest, edgiest Misfits Samhain Danzig fan on the town for having the shirt. You understand why this is such an inside joke. You will make all your Misfits Samhain Danzig friend fans very, very, very jealous with this cool new shirt. And you can get it not just on a shirt. You can get this design on a cell phone case, right? You can get it on an iPhone case. You can get it on an Android case. We got hoodies. We got zip-up hoodies. That's the front. It's got the little insignia right there. Keep you nice and warm for the coming November Fire. This is a November Fire pure natural sour cream, the third variety. And it burns going down, baby, on your baked potato. It's delicious. You can also drink it in a mug if you want. That's right. And we have more designs coming. When you purchase these items, the leftover money after it goes to the fulfillment service goes directly to the creation of this art. So in the same way as buying a cup of coffee on Ko-Fi, you can purchase one of these products and get something in return in addition to the credit. And lastly, check out my website where we have, boy, this is really becoming glitzy. Well, it's the end of the episode, right? Yeah, now come on. Let me shamelessly plug here for a minute, people. Go to my website. There I am. Okay, so this was recorded. You might recognize this from from one of I think the Fallen Heroes music video. This is when Robbie and I set this guitar that he had on fire. There's me. Murder. I was like, that has to be the intro. Come inside to my website. Welcome to my website collection. So right here, you can buy a cup of coffee right here on the website. Thank you, Rue. Be well, be safe. Or if you just click on one of these ads here on the side, those pennies go directly to my AdSense account. Like I said, you are supporting the creation of art. I don't want to mention that I'm unemployed anymore. I'm trying not to. That's not a crutch, okay? Doesn't matter. I'm just trying to appreciate my hustle here, people, as I look for a new day job. And if you go over here, you can rent something on VOD. When you rent something on VOD, we got a bunch of stuff. That's David. That's my newest short film. Here's some of my, so They Came From Lodi. That's the documentary I'm doing. This was my feature-length film that was in production that is dead in the water as of right now. Here's the Riot Fest thing that I did, but here is Romeo's Distress. This is my feature-length film. It has Nimvind on the soundtrack. And there you go. If you want to rent Romeo's Distress for $2, you can. Or if you live in Canada or Australia, you can watch it on Amazon Prime. But if you go right here, you can rent it for 2 beans. Boom. I'll put that in the thing. Whoa. Whoa, it's saved my credit card information. That's nuts. All right, that's the end of this episode. So coming up, we have some cool new episodes coming up. We have some stuff. I have some goodies planned. More t-shirt designs will be coming. More snippets of 1979 will be out there very soon. Like I said, I'm closing in. Man, I'm just getting that B-roll in there, making it look nice and pretty. Over 3.5 hours, motherfuckers. Not 3 hours and 12 minutes. 3.5 hours of Misfits fucking pseudo-documentary content coming your way. I mean, if you didn't think this was enough, holy shit. This is just the appetizer. So, all right. That's the end of the broadcast. I got to go to my son. People are eating cake outside of my house right now. I got to eat some cake. Pre-order Robbery Bloodshed. Send me your shit if you want. Peace and hair grease, everybody.